I was thinking about some of the things that Anthony and I discussed. He just is up in Tennessee, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And discussing whether the devil exists, Satan, and so forth. But I think in terms of Satan deceiving the world, and if we don't grasp that Satan is a being that has control over the nations, then we really can't make sense of what's going on in this world.
Exactly right.
There are conspiracies, and how can those conspiracies go on decade after decade, generation after generation, without this brilliant being governing in the lives and the institutions of man?
Yeah.
So we think in terms that the United States, the greatest country that God has ever allowed to exist on the face of the earth, is somehow exempt from that scripture, that Satan, the great deceiver, has deceived the nations. Everything I've been reading, which I read dozens and dozens of articles on geopolitics, on health, on economics, on religion, there is deception in every one of those institutions and has been that way for millennia. But if we don't understand the concept of Satan and his activity in the course of human affairs, we just can't grasp it, because man can't do this just by himself. Remember, I go to work every morning and my brothers talk about these things, and we keep a couple of scriptures in mind. First one is, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That is very difficult for us in this day and age to keep in our minds.
Yes.
That there are demons behind, but it doesn't make any sense if there's not a power beyond that to influence human beings. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Anthony can break down the Greek on that, and it's pretty plain. So God, in his wisdom, and we don't understand everything, like Paul said, we see through a glass darkly. But God, you look at Job, okay? They came up before God. Satan came before God. And you see, and God says, see my servant Job, how righteous he is. Satan goes right after it. Yes, but doesn't he obey you because you blessed him and put a hedge about him and so forth? So God allows Satan to do certain things, and certain things he does not, depending on the time. I think we're in the end times. I don't know when that is. Is it the next 10 years, 100 years? We don't know. Yeah. We have some indications. And there may be an article coming out in the Focus that I wrote concerning the Tower of Babel and certain things that are happening right now. But without Satan, and I think God has got this rope around Satan's neck or his waist, and he just lets a little bit out here. And he pulls him back, and then he lets it out again, and then he pulls it back. And when that time comes in Revelation, when he comes down to this earth, he's cast out of heaven. There are a couple, there might be a duality there, Anthony. But when God really lets out the rope, look out, world. But there is no doubt that he has deceived the nations in every aspect of our institutions and our society. And if we don't grasp that, then it's difficult to understand the Bible and what God is doing.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely.